Bugonia, the new Yorgos Lanthimos film.
Coming out in October 24th. Really looking forward to it. Anything that Yorgos Lanthimos does, I'm always like intrigued by.
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there day one.
Really interested in. Yeah, what did you think of the trailer?
I think this could be terrific or really irritating. I know that's quite an unusual reaction because, again, I haven't seen Kinds of Kindness, but from what you've told me, it's very bizarre, but sometimes in a way that many would perceive as a little bit like, I don't know. I mean, maybe pretentious is a lazy word, but just deliberately weird. Like,
it just didn't really hit home as well as his others did.
And a part of me worries this could be the same.
Yeah. It seems very similar.
Maybe
he's obviously a big fan of Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, God, but I mean, Jesse Plemons, anything he's in, I'll watch. Like the guy, he kind of scares the shit out of me.
You think? Well, it's just his vibe, just his face.
Whenever he enters the frame, I'm like, oh no, he's a psychopath. But he usually is.
He's just got such that weird, creepy fucking look. But yeah, no, I've just looked it up. It's not an anthology film. Yeah. I was intrigued by that. The trailer sort of led me to think that it would be, which is the element to Kinds of Kindness that I didn't like as much, because it was just like 2 hours, 45 minutes long. That's long, you know? And then for it to be 3 separate stories that are all just so different, it just kind of felt like it wasn't a whole film. And I think that was the issue with it. Not to say that it's, I mean, I would watch it again, I think. Like, Kinds of Kindness definitely has a lot going on there. Like, it's just so fucking bizarre. And you can tell that Bugonia is going to be exactly the same.
Oh,
like every single film that he does, it's almost like he's trying to outdo himself a little bit at this point by just being more and more ridiculous.
No, this kind of looks like if Poor Things and Sacred Deer got together and had a kid.
Do you think?
Because did you not notice, like, just there was one scene where the way she was like moving around in her garden. It did remind me of Poor Things and like the dancing scene.
Yeah.
So it does seem like he's combining elements from his other films for this one.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
But
I mean, it's going to be shot well. Of course it is. There's gonna be lots going on in every single frame. Like
just the wide-angle shots reminded me of The Favourite. He was using elements from that. I mean, obviously, you're gonna see different, similarities there. But it's just whether the story in itself, whatever kind of mythology or whatever,
is interesting
and unique and stands out, and it kind of justifies itself.
But then with the visuals of it, I don't know if you found this. I kind of see it as a throwback a bit to The Lobster and Sacred Deer, because it's quite grey and monotone, and Poor Things and The Favourite have been a little bit more like zany and colourful.
Yeah, it seems to me that this is one of his kind of more lower budget movies, which is intriguing. Like it's interesting. Yorgos is interesting because like every single movie he does, I'm there for. It's always unique. It's always different. It always stands out. But like, will it become a case where it ends up being like a Wes Anderson situation where we're like, we get it now, you know?
I don't think he's quite got there yet.
No, definitely not.
This could be the test, maybe.
It could be the test. And it's funny that it's funny to say that what we love about him is how bizarre he is and how, is idiosyncratic he is. But also to say that you could make a case that Poor Things is his best movie, like on every level, not just like on an accessibility level, like just every level, because like the story is definitely the most kind of layered and accessible. It's not so much about just seeing characters do weird things, talking, weirdly. Although it's got all of that, it's got all of those elements in it, but it's just packed into a more accessible story that you can kind of drink in more and enjoy on that kind of surface level. And yet it also has the depth.
That was the thing with Poor Things.
Yeah,
the themes, I feel like for a wider audience, were more accessible and kind of easier to dissect. Not that they were simple themes.
Yeah,
but I feel like it was one where the audience would come out and think, okay, I do get what he's trying to say. Whereas with some of his other films, I feel like it's very much a case of, do I actually know what this means?
Yeah, and do I care? Does that make a difference, or is it just so wild and crazy that I can just enjoy it for what it is? And yet there is always a deeper meaning that is intriguing. But that's never been like the most interesting thing to me. It's always just been how he presents characters. I think he's always had a fascination between like human beings interacting in really weird antisocial ways, and also kind of extracting the funniness out of it, like the funniness of, you know, just sex and the way characters
I definitely found that in Poor Things.
like weirdly coldly interact with each other, the way human dynamics work on that kind of weird exterior way, that the way like people talk to each other in such a cold, clinical way, and extracting a weird humor in that. And I think it's all to do with, like, I think all of his movies are grounded so much in that dark kind of sense of humor, which a lot of people don't have. A lot of people don't see that. And you could argue that Poor Things is one of those movies that has that, but it was not necessarily a movie that you could look at and go, I couldn't necessarily suggest that just because you liked Poor Things, you're going to like his other movies.
No,
you
absolutely not. I mean, Poor Things has all the characteristics you would expect from a Yorgos Lanthimos film and from his previous work, but
it's just dressed up in a more easy to access way.
It's definitely, I would say, his most like commercial, but not in a bad way, which is bizarre given the contents of the story. It's very weird, very, very strange.
But it's the most normal.
Out of all of them. Then also, I would say The Favourite.
Yeah.
Because The Favourite is very much like a period piece.
Yes.
Like an actual period piece compared to, you know, Poor Things, which is more like quite dreamlike.
Yeah.
And like exaggerated. No, the Favourite is definitely more like taking the zaniness and the clinicalness of his other characters, but putting it in an actual like historical context, real context. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I'm there.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, like I said, I just hope it's not the case that he's getting to a point where he feels like he has to outdo himself and get more and more ridiculous and zany as he goes along. That's not why we love his movies. We love those elements, but at the end of the day, it has to be like the story and the character dynamics. They have to be interesting.
But interestingly, this film is actually written by one of the co-writers of the Menu, and I think he did Succession as well. Maybe it was the other guy, Will Tracy.
Oh, okay.
Is his name. So that kind of intrigues me.
Oh, nice.
See what the angle's going to be, because
that's unique.
I know some people don't love the Menu. I think it's like it's very surface level satire, eat the rich type story, but I still quite enjoy it. I don't know.
I enjoyed The Menu.
Solid film, I thought.
I can take it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the statement that it's making isn't anything we haven't seen before. Like you say, it's very much just against the rich, and it's just about, you know, pointing a spotlight towards that as if we haven't seen that before. But it doesn't matter. Like,
and it's still done well, but other films do it better. Like, for example, I love Triangle of Sadness.
Oh my God, Triangle of Sadness is brilliant
film, and I think that's one of the best, like, Eat the Rich type stories, just because the way it presents it and how like the dialogue and the characters.
I can't wait to see more from that
Ruben
director.
Ostlund, God, whenever his next film is.
I'm going to be there for it.
I'm very excited for that.
But Yorgos is actually, it might seem like I've been, you know, talking negatively about him, but he is actually one of my favorite and most intriguing directors.
No, it's fantastic that we still have a Yorgos Lanthimos around.
He's brilliant. He's fantastic.
And look, I'm more excited to see what he does than Wes, to be honest. I mean, you know, we've spoken about that before on his channel. Even though Wes, I'll check out.
And it's funny. I think you're right. I think people definitely have generally become just very unanimously just disenchanted with his movies. It must be a weird point to be in, where you're still delivering good stuff, but it's just the repetition of delivering that good stuff. It kind of becomes lost on people.
Yeah, and it's weird because any of his films, his current films, if that was coming from like a first-time director, would be like, wow, that's really unique.
Yeah.
But it's because, you know, Wes has become such a part of pop culture, and particularly, you know, internet and film culture. It's like, okay, you know, we get it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, the whole Wes Anderson aesthetic, like on TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, everything is pastel colored.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be like a symmetrical shot of a house. It's strange because I mean, we don't know what's going on in his mind, but I get the sense he makes what he want to makes.
Yeah.
But then to like the wider public, it's kind of like he's become a cliche in and of himself. It's just very interesting how people,
which is an achievement in itself, really.
Yeah. I mean, that says a lot about, you know, how like influential directors become when people say, oh, this is just a Wes Anderson style thing.
The reason why I'm drawing similarities to Yorgos is like, because it's I've definitely noticed just in the general medium, like people are like trying to be a lot of the time, especially with A24 movies, like it's all about trying to be as idiosyncratic and
Weird,
you know, and quirky and offbeat and different as you can possibly be. And that alone, I just don't think always works, you know?
No.
Like, you know, you have to have more substance there. Otherwise, it gets lost on you. And I'm just hoping that Yorgos isn't following that trajectory. And like you said, I guess this movie is going to be the one that really shows where he is in his career, whether he can pull it off and still be interesting. I think the case is just like, are you, you know, is there a purpose in this movie, like as itself, like as an individual movie? Is it worth making compared to like your other movies? Does it stand out on its own? Is it focusing on different subject matter and themes than your others did? And I think that was the problem with Anderson.
Yeah.
You've mentioned that the themes that he tackles and treads on are like
it's all
the same thing.
It's very samey. It's like the same things, but in a different coat of paint.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what I found with his films.
Yeah,
like since Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Even though I still really enjoy that film.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked French Dispatch, but like Asteroid City, I was like, okay, this isn't, you know...
Just gets to the point where it's
seen this.
repetitive. Yeah.
I've seen this before.
Yeah. So hopefully Yorgos doesn't get repetitive because he's a very
Scores.
important director.
Yeah.
So either way, really looking forward to this.